Well, hello everybody. It's Dr. Carmen Bright, and this is Car Chronicles. How you guys doing? Good to see you guys. It's kind of sunny out here, but it's cold. Love Washington. But how's everybody doing? You guys ready? Let's do this. Okay, listen. So, you guys know I'm a believer. So, those of you that are not, I want you to take the principle of what I'm saying. Okay? You gotta have a lot of faith to have fear. You having a lot of faith. You putting a lot of faith into what you fear, and it takes a lot of faith to have faith. So both of them require a lot of faith. To have fear, you got to have faith in the fear that you're having. Faith and fear magnetizes certain things to you, especially fear. You know, if those of you guys look in the book of Job, it tells you the thing that he feared the most is the thing that happened, the calamity that happened. Those of you that don't know the story, go Google the story about Job and put in there the thing that he feared the most happened. But that is in everyday life. You put it in context, use that principle for a minute. The things that you fear the most are the things that's going to happen. A lot of you feared losing the narcissist. It happened. But the thing about it is that you never had them to lose them. They were community property. All narcissists are community property. But the thing that you fear the most happened. You had this anxious attachment to them. You feared that, that you weren't good enough. And you feared rejection, because this is some of the stuff that you dealt with in your younger years. That fear of rejection, the fear of abandonment. Some of you became perfectionists, which is rooted in fear. The fear of failure, the fear of never being perfect. And you're constantly trying to live up to the standards or unrealistic standards that someone has set for you. Narcissists are always going to set unrealistic expectations, because a narcissist is the same way. They fear rejection. They fear abandonment. They fear, being rejected. Those somatic narcissists, they have to be seen. They got to be the best, the beautiful, most beautifulistest. They have this fear that people are going to reject them. That is a weapon against that narcissist, is rejection, abandonment, to ignore them. Well, that's like Superman and kryptonite. You ignore them. You pay no attention to them. You don't show them that you're affected, by anything that they say. You don't run behind them. You silent treatment them, and don't say anything to them. It's like kryptonite to them. They can't handle the weapons that they use against you. But for those of you that are struggling in fear, you got to understand fear has a lot of energy. You ever been around a person that's panicking? You ever been around a person that's went through something traumatic? You've ever been around a person that's lost a loved one? You've ever been a person that's just always anxious? They're always anxious. They're always, and they talk really fast, and they're always anxious. And everything that they say, y'all, they're so, pessimistic. They're so pessimistic. They're so negative. And you don't even want to be around that type of energy. You don't want to talk to them. You want to have anything to do with them, because that energy, that's too much. That is too much. You can feel that energy. So imagine that narcissist, who is a blind predator, can sense your fear. And that fear is like a shark in the water that smells blood. That is how you're pulling them to you, because that fear that you have. Some of you guys, I'm not afraid. You have fear of being rejected. You have fear of not being loved. You have a fear of being lonely. And then the conversations that you have with them are fueled with fear. The fear of not being loved, the fear of being lonely, the fear of being abused, the fear of being cheated on, all that comes out in your conversation. It's the energy that they, like a snake, they can sense it. They can feel it. They can feel that energy. I'm a therapist. I can feel the energy of a person that's panicking. I can feel the energy of a person, and I'm not even an empath, but you can feel that energy. You can feel the energy of people that are depressed. But a person that's panicking, that is fearful, you can hear it in their conversation. You can hear it in their tone of their voice. A narcissist picks up on all that. And that's what they pursue. That's what they go after. You are a prime candidate now. That's why they have to converse with you. A narcissist doesn't get all the victims that, they don't get every person that they prey on. They don't. Because some of them causes narcissistic injuries immediately. As soon as they try to pursue this person, some people cause a narcissistic injury. So that's too much. That's putting too much at stake to chase this particular supply. So they'll give up. They'll pull back and go find someone else. But they can sense that fear. Just like the rain. You can smell the rain coming. But they can sense that fear in you. And they use fear as a weapon. When they find out what your fears are, they use that as a weapon against you. If you have a fear of being alone, if you have a fear of being rejected, they use that to get you to comply with their demands. They use fear to get you to get back under their control. That's what they use fear for. It's a weapon. And some of you are fearful, and you really don't have a reason to be fearful. You really need to be in therapy so that someone can work with you on your anxiety and your fear. I really want you to ask yourself, what are you magnetizing to you? So, people talk about fear. The definition of fear is, what is it? False evidence appearing real. For some of you, you know that narcissist is a manipulative and a very malignant individuals. There are some that are dangerous. So don't play the game. If you need to put in a no contact order, you need to stop playing with this deadly creature. Some of you guys, your defense mechanisms are not working anymore. Your alert system is off because you're not following. You have been desensitized to the danger of the individual that you were connected to. Not all narcissists are that way. They're all malignant. I'm talking about the malignant, higher narcissists, the ones that also have antisocial personality disorder, the ones that also psychotic, they're psychotic and sociopaths. These are the dangerous narcissists, the ones that don't have a problem unaliving you. If you cause a narcissistic injury to a point where you attack their ego, or their ego is wounded, and these are the type that would, you remember, what is it, what was the John, the something John, Dirty John, that's him, a malignant narcissist, dangerous narcissist. If you guys go watch the documentary Dirty John, or the movie Dirty John, a malignant, evil narcissist, to a point where he was, lawyers and law enforcement, these folks knew that this man was crazy. And some of you guys have people like that, where you may have to get in contact with a domestic violence advocate. Call the national hotline. You may have to get involved with you may want to get involved. I highly recommend you getting involved with a domestic violence advocate program, because some of them actually have programs where they will relocate you and change your identity to protect you from this malignant narcissist, or this malignant individual that has no problem unaliving you. As some of you, I can understand that fear. I understand that. But some of you guys are dealing with a narcissist that is a psychological manipulator. Now, all of them are psychological manipulators. All of them are emotional manipulators. They're emotional vampires. Some of them are not deadly like that, but they are malignant, meaning that they will do anything to watch you unalive yourself. That would be the greatest sacrifice that they could ever have, for you to put yourself on their altar and to unalive yourself, because it shows that they're powerful. But it's very short-lived. And so just as quick as you do it is just as quick as they forget about you, because they get the attention at the funeral. They get the attention from the people around you. Weren't you dating him? Weren't you dating her? They get it momentarily, but it wears off. Because when they're accustomed to a copious amounts of fuel, it takes a lot of fuel to fuel them back up. But that's just a moment, so you've wasted your life on this narcissist and unalived yourself. They get a temporary fix, and then that's it. They're on to the next one. And some of you guys are so wrapped around this rejection. You don't want them to reject you. You want them to love you. Hope is the last thing to go. Hope is the last thing to go. But you're going to have to get with someone to deal with your fear. You're going to have to get with someone to deal with that anxiety. You're going to have to get to the root of the problem. Get with someone radical. Radical means to the root. Get to the root of the problem. And some of the roots of the problem is the family of origin, that rejection, that abandonment, that fear of failure. You're still trying to live up to someone's expectation, and the expectations are unrealistic. And so you are traumatized and still traumatized. And that energy that's coming from your fear is drawing these narcissists, these predators, into your court. And you wonder why you keep jumping from narcissist to narcissist to narcissist, and you can never heal. You got this scab, this wound that you keep on reinfecting. Get help. Go seek therapy. It's going to work.